This video is sponsored by Squarespace. All right, everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to a new YouTube video. As you guys can see, we are in the brand new studio space right now, which I'm so excited to finally be here and to start making videos. It's been quite a process moving in here, to be honest. I've had to buy a lot of things, trying to figure out currently how to dampen the sound a little bit to make it feel a little bit more, like a studio versus like just things echoing constantly. So this microphone is helping a lot with that, but I eventually want to be able to just talk right to the camera and not have to worry about the audio bouncing off of the walls and such, but we're getting there. But I really wanted to hop on today and make a video for you guys. We're going to be talking today about my favorite lens of all time. This is the Canon 28-70 f2 lens. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video about this, especially over on Instagram whenever I post a photo of this lens. Everyone wants to know what I think, because I don't think a lot of people have this lens or even really know about it. It's an incredible lens. Like I said, it's probably one of my favorite lenses I've ever used. It is a RF mount, continuous f2 aperture all the way throughout, and it's just really fun to use. I don't know, that's why I wanted to make a video. I think it's a good enough reason, just because I enjoy the lens and I want to share that with you guys. But I think there's several different reasons why I think this lens is so amazing, and I kind of wanted to dive in that today, explain to you guys why I love this lens so much, and also show you guys some sample photos as well. So first and foremost, I have been using this lens for a while now. I do own it. I did rent it actually a couple times before I bought it, just because it honestly wasn't in stock anywhere and I wanted to use it for some shoots. I've been using it for a wide variety of different photography purposes, including portrait photography, as well as some lifestyle work and automotive stuff as well. I actually just shot some photos for Aston Martin with this lens and it turned out great. I was pretty happy with those shots. But I think this lens really shines, honestly, across the board in all kinds of photography, which I think is pretty hard to find. And I think for me, that's a big reason of why I wanted to pick up this lens and make a review, is it really is kind of like an all-in-one package. And as I go through my photography career, I want to have less and less equipment if possible. I don't want to have to carry around 5 different lenses, to every single shoot. And to me, this has just as good a sharpness and depth of field as most prime lenses out there. And you can zoom all the way from 28-70. So it's kind of a no-brainer for me, and probably for a lot of you guys out there as well. So I think what really sets this lens apart, honestly, again, is that constant f2 aperture, but also the ability to be able to zoom with such an aperture. I don't really think I've seen that before on any sort of lens. And it's really exciting. I think this is probably the future of glass, for DSLR mirrorless cameras. And this lens to me really embodies, almost perfection in a way. I think it is just so tack sharp and really easy to use. The only thing I would say that's pretty annoying about this lens is the size and the price. Now, the price is pretty expensive. It's pretty much $3,000 anywhere. I think $2,900 for the most part is kind of the price point that I've seen this lens at. And yes, while that is super expensive, you have to look at it as if you potentially would buy 3 or 4 lenses versus this one lens right here, and when you start to think about it that way, it makes a lot more sense why you'd want to buy something like this. For me, I have no problem spending that amount of money, because I'd much rather buy one lens that does most of what I need than, 3 or 4 lenses that just don't, So that's why this lens is so exciting to me. In terms of optics, this lens is incredibly sharp. It has really nice depth of field at f2, and it's just really a breeze to use. I think, the fact that you can have so much built into one lens is pretty incredible. And, for the most part, portrait photography, this lens will really shine because of that constant f2 aperture. Again, but, you can really use this lens for anything, I think. A lot of people, though, won't like this lens. Obviously, besides the price, it is a very heavy lens. It's also very large. As you can see, it has a 95mm filter thread right here. So if you do buy this lens, you're most likely going to have to buy brand new filters, which does add even more cost on top of this. If you guys shoot with NDs or circular polarizers like I do, you're going to have to buy brand new ones just for this lens specifically, which is pretty annoying. But I think it's the price you pay for such an incredible lens that is just so sharp and easy to use. On the video side of things, I haven't really shot much video with this lens. I don't know how really that would work necessarily just because it is so big. But I do think if you had like a matte box in front of it and had some NDs, it'd probably work just fine. It doesn't have image stabilization built into the lens, but if you're using a newer Canon body such as the R5 or R6, you're getting that in-body image stabilization, so there's not a lot to worry about in that regard. The only thing I would think about is if you're trying to put this on a Ronin or something similar. I don't know if it'd be able to balance it necessarily because it is so front heavy, and it's also just really large. I don't know if it would actually even fit on the actual Ronin plate. So that's something to think about as well. But I'm mostly talking about this camera from a stills side of things. And obviously I've tested so many different lenses from Canon specifically, and also from Fuji, from Nikon, Sony. You know, I've really, I think, given a lot of the different camera brands a great shot in terms of, you know, their lens lineups. And honestly, you can't really go wrong today with how many amazing lenses and camera bodies there are out there. I just think I wanted to make this specific video because I found this lens to be incredibly easy and enjoyable to use. And I really think that it could almost, and when I say almost, I mean almost, you know, really kind of fit the bill for that one camera, one lens setup. I think if you want to go obviously anything north of 70 millimeters, you're going to need a different lens. And if you want to go anything wider than 28, you're going to need a different lens. But other than that, this lens has you covered in a lot of the ways, you know, that you would typically need 3 or 4 different prime lenses for. So I think that's a big reason of why I picked this lens up and why I enjoy it so much. It's really just, you know, one lens. It's nice and easy to bring around. It's so sharp. And I really found that, you know, through a variety of subject matter, it's really easy to take photos with this lens. It's really just an enjoyable experience. So if you guys have any questions about this lens or any questions about any of the images I showed, definitely leave a comment down below. Thank you so much as always for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's kind of a shorter video. I'm excited to, you know, finally, like I said, get this space all organized and ready to go. But that takes time, you know, and I completely understand that, so I'm going to give it some time. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next week. Before this video does wrap up, I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. Squarespace has been a longtime supporter of this YouTube channel, and I can't thank them enough for helping me grow and run my photography business, as well as pump out new videos for you guys. I've been using Squarespace for many, many years, even before this YouTube channel was a thing, and I can't recommend them enough to anybody who's running or starting a small business or even looking to sell digital or physical goods online. To me, it's just plain and simply the easiest option when it comes to designing and maintaining a website, especially with photography in mind. I want my website to complement my images. And I found that Squarespace design and layout options are just really great for laying out images and making collections of my paid and commercial work. If you guys want to check out my website, I'll link that down below, as well as a link for you guys to check out if you want to start your own website. You can go to squarespace.com/Samuel Elkins to receive 10% off your first website or domain purchase.